begin on the floor so that we can flow more easily. And sometimes where we begin is the foundation of our flow. It sets the tone and the stage, elbows for what's to come. It doesn't determine the outcome, but if you have an option, reverse your circles to start in a position that feels more aligned with the outcome, it can be very beneficial. Arms out to the side, circles, forward with palms down. Try to come from the shoulders versus the neck. When we're seated, we always want to have our pelvis tilted so that our tailbone is sticking out the back and we're more on our sits bones versus sitting on our tailbones. Breathing, reverse palms up. Hi, cutie. Good, and then we're going to touch the top of our heads and extend the arms. Breathing. Breathing is warming up the shoulders. If you feel it in your neck, pull your shoulders back a little. That will align them more with the socket and thus not recruit as much from other extraneous and surrounding muscle groups. A lot of times when we raise our arms up, our ribs tend to rise also. Pull the ribs down with intention. And now we're going to reach. We're going to reach up and up. Every change we make affects the flow of our system. So a change in the bend in the hips as we're seated versus standing changes our blood flow, the course of our blood flow and the ease of our blood flow. The more bends there are, the more challenges there are, which is why sitting is such a challenge to our system. There's lots of bends. Creates more sharp curves for the blood to have to flow around. But being seated and pumping the blood, assisting the heart with muscle contraction can be beneficial. Changing your seated position from the same L position that we tend to be in, very beneficial. Every change, even a change as small as this one, sticking one leg out, can change the effect that movement versus whether it's the movement of your blood or the movement of your body has on the outcome of how you feel at the end of the day. Good, and then we're going to pull back and push out. And the other leg will go out for now. Pulling back and pushing out. As you lean forward and push, keep the spine long, and we'll be going into an adductor stretch as you come here and out of it as you come back, leaning slightly, breathing, squeezing the muscles of the back, and then squeezing the muscles of the chest. Good. We'll go lean back and pull back. Lean back, pull back. I'm rotating my palm up as I pull it back. Good. Now let's go to the floor on our backs. Maybe you brought your toy in here. Sweetheart, go over here. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Good girl. Lay on your back and pull your knees into your chest. And gentle rock side to side. And then we'll make small circles with the knees. Breathing. Don't need to be big, just small little circles. Relaxes the tension in the low back and reverse. Breathing. Always facilitating flow with breath. One leg down. Circle the ankles. Breathing. Reverse the ankle. And take that same leg across, leaving the ribs home. You may remember this from the other day. And you can lower the leg away from you and change the angle of the stretch. Yeah, baby. Thank you. I don't need any more cleaning. Any more cleaning. Thank you, honey. Go lay down. And switch legs. Pull one leg in. While we're pulling one leg in, let's get the other leg to go long. Get it nice and long and circle the ankles. Breathing and reverse. And pull across, leaving the ribs home. Play with the angle of the knee. We have a natural rhythm, and it's only when we disrupt that natural rhythm with artificial things like worry, action from our mind only, lingering emotion that we keep bringing back. An emotion takes 90 seconds to flow. If you have it over and over, it's because you're having thoughts over and over that re-summon that emotion. This is so good. Then we'll bring our legs up and let our knees fall open, and we'll hold our lower legs and let the knees just be open, finding stretch in the adductors, circling the ankles. Breathing into the belly. Reverse the circles with the ankles. And find your own pace here. Something that feels good for your body. You can start to let the knees move away from you, still keeping them open. It will change the stretch and keep circling the ankles. As the knees move away, the low back will want to arch. Just tilt your pelvis a tiny bit, pull the belly button in to create stability here, to keep your spine neutral. And bring the legs together, and then one at a time, we'll bring them to the side, keeping the chest center of the hip. So your center of your chest and your hip should be in alignment. And open the back arm, breathing. You can add any vocalization that can help facilitate release. And any self-touch that you need to release any tension. Touching changes things. We need touch, even from ourselves, can be healing. It's about intention, right? Have the intention of healing. And one at a time, bring the legs back up and across to the other side. Open the back arm. And breathe. Any self-touch you feel would be helpful, go ahead and use it. Breathe. And now we'll come back to the back, straighten your left leg, take your right leg across your body, and both arms to that same right side. Actually, this is the left side, but the same side as your right leg. So you look like this. We're going to take a deep breath in, and we're going to exhale, open that back arm, and open to the floor. Straightening the bottom leg, breathing. Now you have two choices here. You can be opening from the shoulder or opening from the space in the middle of the upper back. I would select that one as it gives you greater access to all other ranges of the body. Your shoulders, your hips, your neck. Drawing the shoulder blades down a bit towards your hips. Breathing. Inhale, exhale, close the arms and repeat. Inhale, exhale, open. Breathe. And here I'm going to start to make a little bit of a snow angel with this back arm, bringing my elbow toward my hip. And I'm going to do the same with my leg, moving the arm and leg away from each other and toward. Inhale and exhale. Keeping the arm as close to the ground as possible, shoulder pulling back toward the ground. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and bring yourself back to center and switch sides. Bottom leg goes straight, top leg comes across. Both hands on the side. Inhale, exhale, open. Shoulders pulling down away from the ears. Breathing. Inhale, exhale, close. Inhale, exhale, open. Of the upper back. Start to move the elbow toward the hips. Knee comes up towards your face and away on the exhale. Now inhale, exhale, slide the elbow and knee in. Exhale, slide them out. And inhale, exhale, close the arms. And bring yourself back to center. Let's cross the right shin over the left knee and slide it down onto the thigh. Once you've done that, lift the left leg off the ground. So we're making a figure 4 with our legs. Breathing, holding the bottom leg, that's the left leg, and slightly rotate your bottom half to the left. This brings the right leg more in alignment with your right hip and stretches that piriformis. Breathing. And we'll let that bottom half continue over to the side until your right foot touches the ground. If you don't quite get to the floor, it's okay. You can put something under your foot if you need to stop sooner than the ground. But if the ground works for you, just breathe here. Breathe. Use any self-touch you like to help address any tension. If you can, bring that right shoulder to the ground, open the arms, and you'll make a goalpost with your arms. So if you make a 90-degree angle at the elbow, and you move your arms away from you in a Y and slide the elbows down towards you in a snow angel, away and slide down, away and slide down, keeping the shoulders back toward the floor, breathing, exhaling on the in, inhaling on the out. One more. And bring your legs back to center and switch. Cross your other leg over, bring it up, grab the bottom leg, and slightly rotate to the right to bring the left leg in alignment with the left hip. And breathe. If it feels good to keep your circles going, you can circle the ankle that's free. And you can even circle the one that's crossed. You can accentuate the opening. Body loves circles. Our fascia spirals, so circles help to release the fascia. Belly noises are a sign of release. My body likes circles. Now let's let the legs come across the rest of the way. If you need to stop them from going to the floor because it's too much of a stretch, simply put something underneath of your bottom leg or foot of the top leg. Open the arms. Breathe. And we can begin with the elbows coming toward the body. Inhale. Exhale, we'll move them away. Inhale as you open them. Exhale as they come in. Back shoulders as close to the ground as you get it. Pull the ribs down. If you're feeling like you're flaring the ribs up to get the legs over, pull the ribs down into the home, into their home base, in alignment with the hips. Keep breathing. 2 more. And bring the legs back to center. Straighten your left leg. And we're going to rotate it out, keeping the leg straight. Use your glute of the left leg to open the leg. Rotators of the hip, opening the leg so the toes point to the left. And then rotate them in to the right. Rotate them out to the left and in. Out and in. Use your breath. Use your touch. And bring the leg back to center and switch. Right leg rotating out. Try to isolate the movement to the femur. That's the big bone in your upper leg. Rotating it out and in. letting the rest of the leg follow suit. Toes will rotate out and in, as will the thigh be initiating this movement. Internal and external rotation are one of the primary movements of the body, especially in athletics. But we need it our whole lives, whether we're playing sport or not. And it tends to be diminished over time because we tend not to use it after our youth. In and out. And bring that leg to a stop. Bring both legs to flat feet on the ground. And widen your feet. And we're going to let one leg fall in gently. Move slowly here so as not to compromise your knee, especially if you have pre-existing issues. Squeeze the glute to bring the knee out of this position. Bring it, other leg down. If it's bothering the knee, you can try moving the leg wider to give the knee more space. You can try bringing the foot closer to your butt as the bent knee moves more easily inward and outward. Bring that up by squeezing the glute. Let the other knee drop down. Use your touch, use your breath. Internal, external rotation. Restoring these often relieves a lot of back discomfort, as the back isn't meant to take over the torques and the forces of rotation that are meant for the hips. Squeeze the glute as you bring this back leg out of the hole. Squeeze the glute on purpose to guide the movement so the knee and the quad aren't involved. And keep the other knee up as the back knee folds in, and then open it on purpose. See what it feels like to have true internal rotation, and then add external rotation on the other side. Sometimes we need to focus on one side more than the other. If you like, you can work external rotation on one side while you let the other side open if you need to save time in the morning. This is something you like to do. And switch. You can work the same here, squeezing this outside glute to open while this leg opens in a stretch. Breathing, keeping the ribs down. And bring both knees into the mountain pose with the feet flat. Flatten your back if you find that you're arching. We're going to straighten the left leg and use the hip flexor to bring it into the body. Squeeze the glute to bring it out. Squeeze the glute and the quad to straighten. Squeeze the glute, quad, and adductor rotate, so it's a circle. Bring it in with the hip flexor. Squeeze the glute to bring it out. Glute and quad, straighten the leg, and rotate. So make sure you get all of these before you get the circle to flow. Squeezing the hip flexor to bring it in, glute, glute and quad, glute, quad, and adductors. Pull it in. Once you feel like you're turning things on at these checkpoints, hip flexor, if your hip flexor is on, you won't be rounding your hips towards yourself. Your butt and your tailbone remain on the ground. Your hip flexor works. Then glute opens to the side. Squeeze the glute. You should feel your butt clenching. If you don't, you might feel discomfort in the hip in this position. Squeeze the quad and the glute. Rotate with the adductors, glute and quad, and pull it in again. Once you feel like you have command of these checkpoints, you can flow. We're creating stability and alignment before we expect flow to just happen. So what we're letting go of is misalignment, lack of activation, so we're turning things on so that things flow properly. We just created flow. If you can create flow in your body, you can create flow in your life. Breathing. If you feel any clunking or clicking, slow down and squeeze the muscles more, because you may need to facilitate control before you have flow. Control of the parts, a harmony of the parts, and then you'll have flow. Squeeze. Everyone pulling their weight, no one disconnected. Everyone working together. And rest. Let's switch sides. Straighten the right leg. Use the hip flexor to bring the leg in. Squeeze the glute open. Squeeze the glute and quad to push straight. Rotate all three aspects of the hip and leg. Squeeze, push, rotate. Glute is going to be on the ground here. Hip flexor firing. Squeeze the glute now. Deep, deep squeeze to rotate out. Quad and glute to fire, to extend, rotate. Start slow. There's no rush, and maybe you stay slow for a while until you're in harmony and activated in harmony. All the muscles firing, working together. Maybe they haven't communicated in a while. If you haven't communicated in a while, you might not hold a high expectation of flow just to be there. If you haven't had a relationship for a long time, like besties who've known each other for a long time, can leave and after not communicating a long time, get back together and flow. But if your relationship hasn't been deep, then flow might take some time. Squeeze, rotate, and we do have a relationship and hopefully a friendship with this body. Take your time without expectation. Just allow communication to happen slowly. Don't rush it. No one night stands here. Go on a date with your hip. Take her out for some coffee. Then maybe you have lunch. Then maybe dinner. Maybe you hold hands after dinner, right? Don't rush it back to your apartment. Breathe. Build a friendship first. It's what's left at the end anyway, isn't it? And rest. Now we're going to do both at the same time. We're going to squeeze the glutes and bring the legs open, and then squeeze the adductors to close them. When we close them, we're going to kiss them together, turning both on, open, and close. My pants are restricting my movement, okay? Open and keeping the back neutral. We're not hyperextending or creating a big arch here. We're not pressing into the floor so that we feel like we're using too much effort. We're simply staying in neutral with as little effort as possible. Only what's necessary. Minimum effective dose. Squeeze the adductors and the glutes to facilitate the kiss. Breathe. Squeeze the glutes to open. Glutes, adductors, kiss, and open. If you haven't done a lot of wide stance squats or Pilates work or sports, your adductors can tend to be a little bit offline, and you'll start to feel them get a little burn going if you're kissing them and actually squeezing them together on purpose. Just breathe. We're going to do 3 more kisses. 1. Breathe. 2. and 3. Okay, let's turn over onto our hands and knees and do our spinal wave. Let's get flow happening in our spine. So we'll start at the tailbone, tucking under one vertebra at a time. Do any wiggles you need to feel every vertebra, and then tuck your chin as the last vertebra happens in the neck, and then start again at the tailbone. And tailbone again. Inhaling and exhaling. Find your own flow here. Tailbone leads each direction. Tailbone leads. Use the breath. And now let's do the whole spine together. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Last one. And now stay in this up position, and let's start to make a circle with the spine. So your head and your butt will go the same side, and go slowly making circles with both. Tucking under both the head and the hips. Going to the right, both the head and the hips. Start slow. Slow circles. Hip attachments and any emotional attachments that might exist here. We're just giving them space. Maybe they're ready to leave. Maybe we're ready to let go of them. Breathe. Big circles. And when you complete this circle where you began, reverse. You might find that your body prefers one direction over the other. So try the reverse and try it on, even though it may feel strange, because we have a preference that we probably tend to go to when we do most circles in the body. Try it on, because it may be something you need that you've been unconsciously ignoring. A need to change direction, a need to find more balance in your approach. Maybe you've been using the same approach for a long time. Maybe there's something that needs to shift, but you won't know until you look at it. Maybe try something new on. See if it feels like it could work. Sometimes simply moving joints in a rhythm that's different than the way they've been moving can reestablish balance of tension around the joint. And in our lives, the same is true. When you change one thing, you change the whole thing. You may even grow to like this direction. And when you finish where you began, let's do one more set of folding and releasing. So cat camel, going up and down, tucking under and going back up toward the ceiling. Flexion and extension. And then find neutral. What's between the high and the low? Where can you settle in right in the middle? And from here, we're going to walk our knees back away from our hands as far as we're able to, and still maintain stability in the shoulders. And we're going to start to lower down. We're revisiting our strength day. Engage the core and push back up. Lower down slow, under control. If you can't push back up, just get up however it feels good to do so. Keep your ribs in. Try not to hyperly arch the back. I think I made a word up today, hyperly. I like it. I might use it again. Keep your spine neutral. Looking straight down. Access the chest. So squeeze the shoulder blades together as you descend. Pull them apart as you push away from the floor. It will help facilitate the strength by incorporating both sides of the body. Even though we're doing a push-up, we can be pulling the shoulder blades apart, creating space and more access to the chest. Let's do 3 more. 2. 1 more. Excellent. From here, we'll go up and stretch the calves. Just gonna check on the pants here. There we go. And pressing the heels alternately down to the floor. Letting the toes bend. You can do a few ankle circles here if you want, or side to side. Ankle movement or back and forth. Alternating, pressing the heel down on the opposite sides. You can even stretch top of foot here. Top of foot. And then bring your knees back to the floor. And then we're going to sit on the feet. We've been revisiting this position over the last 12 days. And hopefully for you, it's getting a bit more comfortable, or ease is coming into picture. I hope that you could one day sit in this position with ease. Squeeze the quads and glutes. If there's a glimmer of hope because there's been a little change, we love this. We celebrate this. Sitting on the feet with the toes tucked under. Breathing. Just allowing the tissues to expand and conform in a different way. And then back down, squeezing the glutes and the quads to come up. Sit back down onto the feet again. Breathing. Breathing. If you can't sit on the feet like this and it's really uncomfortable, you can stick a pillow or even a yoga block underneath here. Pillow tends to be easiest for most people just because it's soft on both sides. Good, squeeze up and tuck the toes under. Last one. Squeeze up, and we're going to go right into 1 foot forward and 1 leg up and back. So our hands will go right on the inside of the foot and we'll open. We're going to do 3. Open. Breathe and close it. Open. And close. Good. On this same side, we're going to just bring the back knee in so that it's in alignment or just behind the left heel or the front heel, whichever leg you chose. So the back knee is in alignment with the front heel or slightly behind it. And we're going to begin by letting the knee pass the ankle. So push the knee forward of the ankle, keeping the heel flat. Your hands will remain on the ground. We're going to press down through the heel, squeezing the butt and the quad, and we're going to lift our hips toward the ceiling. And you might not get a leg completely straight the first time, or you may, but if you don't, it's okay. We're going to do several. So on the way back down, we place the knee where it began, slightly behind or in alignment with the front heel. And the knee passes the toe, squeeze down through the heel, squeezing the butt, squeezing the quad, pressing up through that leg. And back down. And if you are able to sit on this back heel, this is something you can add. This ground posture really works a lot of different things, tissues of the body that can aid you in having longevity in your movement quality. Rocking forward, pressing down through the heel, squeezing the glute, squeezing the quad, and pushing through the floor. And if your hip tends to go out to the side, think about bringing your legs online, like squeezing them around toward each other. If you were squeezing your inner thighs around toward each other, like this, bringing them to midline, it can help keep your hips in alignment. Sitting on the foot in a ground posture. This is one of my favorite ground postures to practice because it works so many different things at the same time. I used to not be able to sit like this, y'all. Like, it used to be so uncomfortable. Okay, so heel down, glute, quad, last one, ready? Press down and lift the hips. Centering the legs toward the midline to keep the hips in alignment. Feeling the stretch in the hamstring on the front leg. You might even be feeling something in the back leg. And then back down to the floor. Sitting on the foot one more time in this beautiful ground posture that helps to relieve a lot of the abnormalities that happened from sitting in the L position on chairs all day. Good, and we'll switch feet. Okay, so we'll have our back knee in alignment or slightly behind the front ankle. We'll shift our weight forward so that the knee is passing the ankle, but the heel is still on the floor. So keep your heel down. Press down through the heel, squeeze the butt, squeeze the quad, and raise the hips. And bring it down, and we'll sit on the foot in our ground posture. If you need to support yourself, do so. You could have yoga blocks, you could have a chair, you could put a pillow behind your foot. And again, lean forward, pressing down through the heel. Glute is on. Make sure your foot is straight. Sometimes in these positions, we tend to have ways that we compensate. Sometimes that's turning the ankle out or in, usually in this position. Pressing down through the heel, squeezing the glute, squeezing the quad, raise the hips, push through the floor in that front leg. Use it. And back down into our ground posture. And two more. Leaning forward, pressing down, squeezing the glute and the quad, pushing through that leg. Both legs moving toward the midline. And back down. Ground posture. Last one. Leaning forward, pressing down, squeezing, rise. Okay, and back down, ground posture. Okay, from here, we're actually going to bring our back foot in alignment with our front foot. Now, if you need to stand up to do it, then do so. But what we're trying to do here is getting into a resting squat. So you can support yourself in this position if you can't be in a squat this low with your feet flat. If you need to stand up and get down into it slowly, hold on to a chair, put your hands on yoga blocks, do whatever you can to get into this position. And at first you might need to turn the feet out. Eventually you want to be able to have the feet facing forward like so. And eventually you'd like to be able to get into this position here where both feet are facing forward. And you can support yourself with your hands. So if we want to be in this position here with loaded feet, at first we may need to widen them to be able to sit comfortably. There's really no right or wrong. It's really about your body and where your body's most comfortable. Most important thing in the beginning is that your knees are in alignment with your second and third toes. So you don't want your knees rotating in necessarily right now or outside of them. You want them right in alignment with your second and third toes to be able to sit in this position. Our ancestors did this. They cooked, they cleaned, they changed the babies, they pulled the roots, they did all the things, right? So we want to get comfortable in this ground resting position as soon as possible. And we can do that by helping the tissues of our lower legs to get freed up. So you can start by just sitting here and letting the tissues open. And you might grab a weight. If you have like this, something like a weight. Let me see, 5-pound weight here. Or a heavier one might do if you need more help. But you just having anything that keeps you in your feet versus falling backwards could be beneficial. Just something that you can hold that counterbalances you can help to open those tissues. The more you sit in this position, the more the position will feel comfortable. Okay, so I just wanted to introduce you to that, to sitting in a ground resting position, a squatted resting position, and don't force it. Let the tissues open over time, just like a beautiful friendship opens over time. And from there, let's take a seat on our butts and do our breath for the day. Today, we'll visit our 360-degree breath again and really try to feel it 360. So when you expand your belly, also feel the expansion in the low back. 360 degrees, like touch an area and try to expand it with breath. If you feel like an area is not moving, touch it to give yourself some feedback, some biofeedback. If there's an area on your back that you can't access, touch it and breathe into it. And just do this spot checking, even in your arms. You can breathe into your whole body. And after you've done the spots that feel like they're stuck a little, then expand into the whole body. And then let's carry this 360 breath into a standing posture. Continue doing it as you move. Keep going. And then let it move you into your own flow. And we'll do an intuitive movement today as you're breathing 360. you might find that your body wants to move in ways that you haven't in a really long time. We touched almost every muscle in the body today. In a nice flow that ended with an integrative resting squat on the ground. Use your breath, use your sound. Just move. Breathe. And then start to bring it down. Use your breath to slow your movement. And keep the breath deep but slow. Slow the intensity of the output of the vocalizing. And then bring yourself to stillness and find yourself. Find your center. Find your heartbeat. If you can't find yourself, find your body first. Your heartbeat. Yes, you find the life inside you. Yes. There she is. And what I like to do after I've flowed physically and I've flowed energetically is to find stillness. And we'll close with this. So lay down onto your back. Oh my. I should be able to see my whole mat there. There we go. All right, can you see the whole mat? Yes. Lay down on your back. And you can either find a flat position like so with your hands on your body or open, or if you have a chair and your legs are at 90 degrees, this is the most relaxing position the body can be in. Putting your feet up at 90 degrees and letting go here. So find the position that works best for you. And just allow yourself to be held by the earth as you breathe. Intentionally releasing tension by allowing the body to relax, to let go. Do your scan here. You can start at the top of the head and notice any tension, and with instead of just noticing, we consciously say, I release you. Giving yourself permission to let go. You no longer need to hold this. I release you. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. Hi, baby girl. And just do this crescendo of relaxation all the way down to your toes. And from that space of surrender, do your visualization if you choose to, for 1 minute to 3 minutes. And until we meet again, tap in, rise up, and have a powerful, powerful day.